9 small squares are used to form a large square. If each side of a small square is 7 centimetres, we're asked what is the area of the large square. Now, you should have done some area by now, but I'll just remind you what area is, and that's the sort of flat space inside a two-dimensional shape. And we measure that by imagining how many little squares, each with the side of 1 unit, if it's centimeters, say 1 centimeter, we could fit inside that shape. Let me give you an example. So imagine that I have a rectangle, and there we go. And this is side 2. Measures 2, and let's say this measures 3. What I'm imagining is that, here we go. I don't know how well I've drawn this. Okay. I imagine that these are squares, okay, and they each have a value of 1. This is 1 and this is 1. That's why the two of them together are 2. This is 1, 1, 1, altogether 3. 1, 1, altogether 2, 1, 1, 1, altogether 3. And what I'm trying to do when I'm calculating area is to figure out how many of these little squares, each with sides 1, 1, 1, 1, can fit inside my shape. And the way that I do this is to multiply the length, here 3, by the breadth, which is 2. So it's length, so let me put it down here, area equals length times breadth. Okay, and in this case, it is 3 times 2, and that gives me, and if we say that these are centimeters, this gives me a value of 6 centimeters squared. Okay, that's how many of these little squared centimeters I can fit into my shape. And that's basically what we are doing. All right. You need to, if you really have no clue about area, you should go to some videos that explain that in more detail. But that's what we're trying to do here. Now, don't get confused here, because here we've got 9 small squares. All right, they're not the same as these little ones. 9 small squares are used to form a large square. If each side of a small square is 7 centimeters, what's the area of the large square? So drawing what's going on might help us. All right, so what would you draw? Well, how could you arrange 9 small squares to form a large square? Well, I think you would probably fairly quickly figure out that you're going to do 3 rows of 3, aren't you? Okay. All right, so you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 squares arranged to form a large square. I think that would be fairly easy because you've probably modeled things like this, or seen things like this. So what does it tell us? It tells us that each side of a small square is 7 centimeters. I'm just going to put the numbers in. So that's 7. This is 7. And this is 7. Okay. I usually put in my little things. So this is 7. Okay. So this is 7. All right. This is 7. This is 7. This is 7. As is this, 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 and so on and so on. I'm not going to write in all of them because this is 7, this is 7, everything's 7. But what am I interested in? Well, remember we said area, that's what we want to find out, equals the length times the breadth. All right, these are just the 2 dimensions that you have in a 2-dimensional shape. One goes this way and the other one goes the other one goes that way. All right. And it doesn't matter. This is a multiplication. It actually doesn't matter which way round you multiply them. So what is the length of each of the sides of this big square? Well, you can see this is 3 sevens. So 3 times 7, you will know from your times tables that that is 21. Okay. So this side is 21, as is this. All of the sides are 21 because it's a square and all the sides are the same. So what are we going to multiply to get the area? Well, that is going to be 21 times 21. And if we do that, that is going to give us 441 centimeters squared. It's telling us that those are all those little squares. So what's that? So let's just go back. I mean, that's the final answer. And if you're happy with that, you can, you can stop watching. What I'm just going to do is show how, let's try and do this. So to, um, okay. And then, okay. So these tiny little squares in here, all right, they're supposed to be tiny little squares, and each of them, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each of them has has a side of 1. Okay. And if we kept drawing all of these, all right, you would find out. So how many would be in here? Well, that would be 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, so each of these has 49. All right. And if we did 49 times 9, we would get to the same answer here, because that's what we're doing, is just trying to find out how many of these little unit squares, squares with sides of 1, are inside this shape. Well, we don't need to do that and draw them like this. We know that we can get that by calculating, finding out what the sides are, and one side times the other side will give us the answer of how many square centimeters are in our entire shape.